So our theme this morning is the theme of transformation. Transformation is something that we all need more or less continuously, really, compared with animals that stay the same. Human beings are constantly evolving, and we constantly need an influx of new ideas and impulses, and we constantly need to grow and develop, and we constantly need to let go of patterns and habits, behaviours that are no longer, or beliefs, if you like, that are no longer appropriate. We constantly need this process of letting go of the old and beginning something new and developing, because otherwise we stagnate. So for our health and generally for the progress of humanity, each of us needs to be constantly transforming. And what I want to look at in this morning's session is different aspects of this process. When we do the yoga positions, we always take in a new idea, and we have to let go of certain old things. They might be tensions in the body, they might be held breath, they might be certain beliefs about the way that we do the position. So we'll look at some of the ingredients for transformation in today's session. I'd like to start with the cosmic prayer, because the cosmic prayer depicts this process of constant growth and constant letting go of something obsolete and developing something new. One way we can see this process is in the development of a plant. When a plant puts out its shoot, it lets go of the first few leaves that form, then new leaves form, then they have to die as more new leaves form, and then the flower forms, and then the petals have to go as the fruit forms. And finally the whole flower has to die in order to release its seed and then produce a new growth for the next year. So there's this constant process of letting go and new growth that we can see in the plant world. Let's come to the cosmic prayer. We'd like to come to a standing position. I'm going to kneel as usual so that you can see the arms properly. And let's first of all start when we do the 7 movements with the analogy of the 7 stages of the plant. So the first stage represents the seed that falls into the earth. You have your right hand in your left. The second stage, you bring your hands out into this second position. That corresponds to the roots. Then we have the growth of the shoot. And then we have the putting out of the leaves. Then we have the forming of the bud. And from the bud, it opens out into a flower. Finally, the petals fall and reveal the fruit. And finally, the fruit itself releases the seeds. And from the seeds come the roots. And from the root comes the shoot. And from the shoot come the buds, the leaves, sorry. And then we form the new bud. And the bud develops into a flower. The flower releases its petals and the fruit grows. And from the fruit comes the new seed. One more time, the roots, the shoot, the leaves, the bud, the flower, and then the fruit. So that's one way in which we can understand the symbolism of the cosmic prayer. It's a cosmic prayer, so it reveals a cosmic process that takes place in all natural processes. So another way that we can understand it is with this idea of taking a new idea, a new understanding, a new impulse, something that brings about a transformation within us. And if you take the right hand in the left again, this first gesture symbolizes the shedding of our old preconceived ideas so that we're ready for the new idea. So this second gesture is the readiness to receive something new. And then This is when this new idea starts to gain momentum and energy. And this is when it integrates itself, it expands, it grows out and becomes part of a greater whole. And this is when it becomes a really authentic, lived personal experience. And this is when it leads to a greater appreciation of others and of the world. And finally, we need to even let go of our own striving in order to put that idea free into the world. So let's do the cosmic prayer a few more times with this idea of how a new idea or a new impulse constantly can lead to a shedding of old things and a development into something new. The beginning lies in the readiness to grow like a flower, wide open to the light, turning to the center in appreciation and devotion. The beginning lies in the readiness to grow like a flower, wide open to the light, turning to the center in appreciation and devotion. The beginning lies in the readiness to grow like a flower, wide open to the light, turning to the center in appreciation and devotion. And relax. So we're going to move next to the sun prayer. Would you like to just take your feet together first of all, and we'll start just with this standing half moon where we can picture a long, long spine growing up really actively right through the length of your spine and arms. So the growing takes place out of the solar plexus region here, and it continues right through, again, just so that you can see the fingers. When we grow into the standing half moon, it grows right through in a flowing line like this. And my arms are coming off the top of the screen. Let's do just that movement again, because this is the main thought that I'd like us to follow in the sun prayer. This growing long line right up through the upper spine from the solar plexus, continuing through the fingertips, and take the hands down again. When we start the sun prayer, particularly in the morning, we'll come across lots of stiffnesses in the body. And it's a bit like in life, we come across lots of different obstacles. And we can very easily sort of recede and say, okay, I'm not going to take that step forward. There are too many obstacles. So one thing we can learn in our yoga practice is to stay with our intention and to observe the obstacles, not battling them, observe them for what they are, but stay with a clear intention. So our intention now is going to be to produce this long line of the spine right up through to the fingertips. We're just going to hold that thought. We can observe the resistances that come in the body, not fighting them, but not succumbing either. So we stay with that clear idea of a long spine, hands together. Take the arms up. Let's form that clear idea. We have a long spine. We take the hands down, look down towards the ground. Take the right foot back, form a good length with the growth, with the legs. Take the arms up, and once again, a long spine right through to the fingertips. Then come into the plank, with a long line. Take the knees down, hollow your back, take the forehead down, slide along the ground, curl into the cobra. Again, the whole spine is worked through its length. Come into downward dog. A good long, long spine. Take the right foot forward, forming the base with the legs. And now grow right up through to the fingertips, a long spine. Take the other foot forward, looking down. Come up once again and lengthen right the way up through. And take the hands down. Stay with our thought and continue. With each movement and with each round, we can find that it starts to get a bit easier to form this length, this flowing length. Take the hands down, looking down at the ground. Left foot back. And right up, a good long spine. Come into the plank. Knees, chest and forehead down. Slide forwards, cobra, the whole spine is involved. Downward dog, so if you think of your bottom forming the peak of that long-sided triangle. Left foot forward. Coming up, growing right through the upper spine, right through to the fingertips. And the other foot forward. Come up once again. Good growth, long spine. And take the hands down. We'll come back to the sun prayer in a minute. I'd just like to do, first of all, the standing head to knee position. This one is very interesting when it comes to this theme of transformation, of moving forwards. In the standing head to knee position, we have the idea that we go out of ourselves. We've got the legs that remain anchored. Just have a look. With the upper body, we glide outwards, as if we're gliding right out of ourselves. Look beyond. It's important to look ahead. We're going out of what's old and familiar. So take your feet together. You can really draw them together firmly. And take the hands lightly up above the head. Breath flowing. And now come down into the movement, gliding outwards. You can push back a little bit with your hips. And with the whole spine, you lengthen right through, looking beyond. Just a little beyond where your fingers are. Going out of ourselves. Let the breath flow. Stay with that thought. Going out of ourselves. Relax down again. Come right the way back up. And take the hands down. So in his book, The Soul Dimension of Yoga, Heinz Grill describes the experience in this position as being like crossing over a threshold of perception, as if a new depth of experience can be reached. Crossing over a threshold of perception, as if a new depth of experience can be reached. Let's stay with that thought as we come into the movement again. Take your feet and legs together. Good, tightening in. Keep the upper body really free so that it's free to stream out into the new. Come down into this forward bend, lengthening out. Looking ahead. Good flowing line through the spine. And it's like crossing over a threshold of perception, as if a new depth of experience can be reached. Just relax down again. Come freely back up to the standing half move. And take the hands down. Let's do another round of the sun prayer, coming back to the same thought that we had, only now we've stretched the spine a bit more, so it should be a bit easier. We want to stay with the thought of developing a long spine. In spite of the various resistances that we feel, we just observe those for what they are. Hands together. Take the hands up. Long spine. Come down, looking down towards the ground. Take the right foot back. And long legs as well. And then stay with this thought of long, long spine. Come into the plank. Then you can think of long spine going back towards your heels and letting the head come forwards. Knees, chest and forehead down. Slide along the ground, work through the whole spine into the cobra. Push into the triangle. Long spine. Take the right foot forward. Once again, really growing up into this length. Other foot forward. Come up once again, forming a long spine. And take the hands down. And a little bit faster on the other side, hands together. Long spine. Take the hands down, looking down at the ground. Left foot back, good length. Long spine. Then the plank. Knees, chest and forehead down. Cobra. Triangle. Left foot forward. Half moon with long spine. Right foot forward. Right the way up and grow into that long, long length. And take the hands by your sides. So the next exercise that we'll come to is the fish. So the fish is an exercise where the chest opens up to the new and the head drops back as if we're releasing the old. The legs just flow away calmly along the ground. So each of these different regions of the body is doing something different. In order for transformation to happen in life, we need to become aware of the difference. Where is the new waiting to enter? What is the old that has to be released? What is it that can just give us a calmness and remain the same? We need to be able to differentiate these three things from each other. And this is what we can learn from the fish. I'm just going to demonstrate it first so that you can see these three regions working in a clear distinction from each other. The legs flow away. The chest is actively lifted. And the head then just drops back gently onto the ground. So if we can have a clear differentiation, the new can enter, the old can be released. Can you take your arms right underneath your body, squeezing the shoulder blades as close together as you can. Straighten out your legs. And just become aware of these three sections right at the outset. You can feel your legs flowing along the ground together. You're aware of your chest, which is about to open to the new, and you're aware of the head, which will drop back, letting go of the old. When you're ready, go up onto your elbows, and now actively open your rib cage and your chest, push it actively out, and then drop the head gently back to rest on the ground. So you can stay with this idea. With the chest, we are opening to the new. With the head, we're dropping back the old. Just relax down again. And just sit up and have another look. So I was watching you all, and I got the sense with nearly everybody that you could have done with dropping the head back a little bit further. I'm going to just show you. So what I saw was a bit of lifting, and it looked a little bit like that. Now, in order to really get a bigger differentiation in this position, you need to come right up onto your elbows at the beginning and really push the head, the chest right up, push the ribs up and the chest up. So that when you come into the position, it really is the top of your head. It's not the back of your head that ends up on the ground, but really the top of your head. You'll find a much more intense experience. Have another go. I mean, if you take your arms as close together as you can and your shoulder blades really close together, palms side by side, and make sure when you're lying on top of your arms that your elbows are straight. Let the breath flow. So once again, you can come right up onto your elbows, right up high, but your elbows, look how my elbows are, they should be bent. You're lying on your elbows, your upper arms should be vertical. Then you can really push the chest up, push it right high up. And then drop the head back when you've lifted your rib cage and your chest as high up as you can. So your upper arms should be in a fairly almost vertical position. And that way you've got a good lift of your chest. The top of your head is on the ground. The chest opens to the new. The head is completely relaxed, releasing the old. And the legs just flow away calmly along the ground. Differentiated awareness. And then relax down again. Just hug your knees into your chest. And come up to a sitting position. And straighten out one leg, bend the other leg. So we're going to come to the head to knee position over one leg. So if you've got your right leg straightened and your left leg bent, you can take the left arm behind your back. And you can take the right hand forwards. If anyone's able to take the foot right on top of your thigh, this is a more difficult version, you can take hold of your foot with your arm behind your back. That's a more advanced one. So let's look at the hand. This hand is way out in front of us. We're talking about new developments today. We're talking about transformation. Let's look at that hand as if it represents something in the future. This top part of the spine, which corresponds to the fifth chakra, is also responsible for entering into the new. Let's imagine that that region is leading us forward as we follow that hand with our eyes. Let the breath flow. And leaving behind the old resistances, the old structures, we're moving forwards into something new. Come back again, right the way up. And take the hand down. Change your legs around. So you can have either one leg taken in, or you can take it right on top. And take the right arm now behind your back, and you can either keep it behind your back, or if you're able to take the foot, you can do that. And look ahead at that arm, which is moving out into the distance. Be aware also of the part of your spine just below the neck. And now, as if you're moving forwards, looking ahead, moving into the new. Let the breath flow. It's as if we grow beyond the old. We stay with a new idea, a new thought, a new impulse, a new goal. And we stay with it. And come back. And take the hand down. And I want to come to this movement with a twist. It's knee position with the twist. When we twist, we open out our collarbones, which again correspond to the fifth chakra. It's a region of a sensitive opening to new possibilities. So when we do this position, we can start in the same way as the last one we just did. I'm just going to demonstrate, and what I'd like you to see is how this collarbone region sensitively opens out, as if we can become sensitively aware that there's something new, something other beyond that, our new goals, our new impulses, our new developments, and they're waiting to be realized. So as we come into this position, we can take the hand to the foot, and you can, when you do it, you can think of forming a line from your one shoulder to the other shoulder to the knee, and then looking up. And the experiences of this sensitive opening to the new. So if you'd like to once again take your left hand behind your back, and take the foot if you're able, or just have it behind your back. And then the right hand to look forward as before. Start to move forwards following that hand, and now start to twist. You can turn the hand and the arm to face up, take it down towards your foot or leg, and continue to twist the upper body. The twisting happens from the middle, the solar plexus chakra, that's quite active. While by contrast, the collarbone area is more sensitive and open, and we look up. So there is a line from one shoulder to the other shoulder to the knee. And that span between the two shoulders is sensitively open. Openness to the new. And return again. Take the arm up. And then we'll change over to the other side. And take the right arm behind your back, taking the foot if you're able, or just keeping it on your waist, looking ahead at the other hand. Start to move forwards. Then twist from your middle, solar plexus. Turn that hand to face upwards, taking the hand down towards your leg or foot, and take your awareness to that collarbone area. You form a line from the top shoulder to the bottom shoulder to the knee. And stay with the awareness of the collarbone region, sensitively opening out to the new. Straighten up once again. Come right up to a sitting position, stretch up, and take the hand down. So the last one I'd like to do is a yoga mudra. Yoga mudra can either be done in the kneeling position, and when we do it in a kneeling position, I'll just show you how we come into it, because with yoga mudra, we start by looking out at the world, And then very consciously, we take our body down to the floor. So you can do it in such a way that you slide your hands forwards. And that's the simpler version. And then if anyone's able to do it either in half lotus or full lotus, or even just in the cross-legged position, you can do it with the legs crossed, or you can do it in half or full lotus. It's done in the same way. You take the hands down and you can just slide them consciously. So in the last exercise, we had this sensitive openness to the new. With the Yoga Mudra, we've got the letting go of the old. The body, it comes down onto the floor and it rests. But in order to really let go, we need to remain conscious. Our automatic thing in life is to hold on to what's familiar. And it's only through consciousness that we can actually become aware of what we need to let go of. So in this position, we're going to come down into Yoga Mudra and we're going to hold it for a little bit of time, being conscious that it's the body that is being let go, but our consciousness, our awareness is remaining very sharp and alert and clear. The consciousness is always active so that it can build new ideas for the future. The body in this position can just be calm. We let go of the body. So start in an upright sitting position. Take the arms up above the head. And then come forwards, take the hands onto the mat, just keeping the palms together, and slide the hands forwards along the ground. And gradually you come lower and lower until eventually, if possible, you rest your forehead on the ground. And we're going to hold this position for some time, just remaining aware that the body is the body. It almost becomes part of the earth in this position. But our consciousness is different. Our consciousness is free. Our consciousness is always able to expand and grow and develop new awareness, think new thoughts. So in this exercise, the body rests on the ground. Consciousness remains aware, overseeing, observing. And come back up to a sitting position. Take the arms up above your head, as if you're facing the outside world once again, but in a new way, having shed what no longer belongs and ready for something new. Our theme this morning has been about transformation, about the readiness to constantly take in new impulses, ideas, thoughts, goals, and at the same time to be ready to shed what no longer belongs, so that we can be ready to move forwards and transform in our lives. So we can finish our session there.